Yo, DM Rodriguez here, and today I'm going to draw in Memorum, David Lynch. Now, I'm listening to David Lynch in the background, some of his music, which is pretty cool actually. Hopefully I don't get copyright stricken. I'll just talk over it to keep that from happening. Now, this is kind of a caricature portrait rather than I guess what you would call a traditional portrait. So, I used to draw caricatures for a living as soon as I got out of high school at this place called Custom Card, and taught me a lot about learning how to draw people, and just learning how to draw a variety of people. So that actually kind of helped me as far as making sure that people all look different. I mean, everybody looks different, and there is such a thing as what they call same face syndrome, which is something that every illustrator basically has to. I want to say in particular, comic book illustrators have to kind of it's a hump. You know what I'm saying? That especially comic book illustrators in particular have to get over, because when you're drawing comic books, right, I mean, from there's plenty of reasons why you might end up drawing a similar face. I mean, there's basically a time constrictions that you have. You have to draw really quickly, and you basically have a basic face model, facial structure that if it's appealing and it works, you use it. And this is why a lot of times, if you look at some comic books, not all comic books, but some comic books, um, you'll notice all the females, all the men, they have the same face, and the only way you can tell the difference between them is pretty much by their clothing or their hair color or facial hair, what have you. But I never really had a problem with that because of the simple fact that I worked drawing caricatures for a living straight out of high school, and if you're drawing caricatures, you you can't have, everyone can't look the same. And I want to give a shout out to Roland Napoli, Valerie Totier, two people that have actually influenced me, and especially within the realm of like drawing caricatures. Now, as you can see, I got a basic face construction here, and I might have mentioned before how in drawing comic books, I tend to draw too realistically, and that's not something that I really want to do. When it comes to comic book illustration, I really like the cartoony, the more, I guess, the more exaggerated. Because I mean, why draw something that's realistic when you can draw something that's. I mean, first of all, we're drawing superheroes, okay? So I love this music. So why would you, why not take advantage of the simple fact that we're drawing, okay? So since we're drawing and we're making up the world and the characters, why not, why not push and pull and have very unique um, drawings rather than kick it real. And that's not to say that I don't like realistic. Um, I love realistic drawings. They actually lend to storytelling in comic books just as well as the cartoony or the exaggerated styles. I just prefer to, at least in the case of drawing, how I want to draw. Is I prefer a little more cartoony, something appealing about it. Not that I can't draw realistically. Like I said, I have a tendency. My first instinct when I draw is to draw something more realistic, and I don't want to do that. I want to really exaggerate. I like the exaggeration when it comes to a visual appeal, I guess. And even still, I mean, like I could go a little bit more nuts with this caricature here. The more I look at it, it's I mean, David Lynch is very. I mean, he's a handsome man. I mean, matter of fact, when you look at photographs of David Lynch, he 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 has a look, that model look, that almost like cool guy look with his eyebrows, his eyes looking up at you. His eyebrows kind of look like he's squinting from the sunlight or something. He's got a really cool, uh, 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 I guess, look about him. And the interesting thing is when you hear the man talk, I mean, he's brilliant, he's a genius, but he sounds like the biggest nerd. I mean, he's definitely um, when I say sounds like a nerd, I don't mean the content of his conversation. I just the way he talks, he's very nasally and kind of and I think that I don't know. Forgive me if you have a similar sounding voice. I don't mean to offend you by saying to me that sounds nerdy, but I mean even listen to the way he sings. I love it. See, I love this music. He's really good. His music is really good. This is a couple years ago, maybe. Maybe this is 8 years. It's really cool. His music's cool. And yeah, rest in peace, David Lynch, man. He's a major influence on me. Not just artistically, but as storyteller. Like, he's an excellent storyteller. He's very um, I'm trying to think, unique and very captivating, and it's just like when you watch his movies, he draw you in. He's got really good ideas. He has excellent ideas, and there was I had listened to everything David Lynch, every interview he's had. I've seen, I've listened to his lectures, and he makes very interesting points when it comes to storytelling. That can be, at least in my case, I've used his advice as far as storytelling is, and since he's a visual storyteller, okay, with cinema, it can help if you're a comic book illustrator. Yeah, I encourage you to go ahead and go YouTube. A lot of his interviews are on YouTube, and listen to he gives up a lot of nice, very useful information as far as um, visual and how to go about telling a story. And this guy's hairline, incredible. Not one centimeter of recession. Right now, this image right here is he's very shadowed or shaded. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm not gonna draw the details where the shading is, because why would I do that if I'm not going to need that? Okay. Let's get in here. Okay. Well, yeah. If you didn't know that David Lynch was I mean, the man could play guitar. I don't want to say he could sing, but his music compositions are really cool. I think it just and it's sexy too. If I could say that, you listen to his music. I mean, his voice is not necessarily sexy, but I mean, just when you listen to his music, I don't know, man. I see a sexy girl dancing, and a lot of the music is about that. Is it? I don't know. You might disagree. You might not think it's sexy sounding, but it kind of has to me that feel of I don't know, like who else is like Portishead, Elijah Fields, not the heavy metal Elijah Fields, Jennifer Charles Elijah Fields, sexy sound, I guess. The music that is, because like I said, his voice is very nerdy, but it doesn't sound bad in his music. It doesn't sound bad. It kind of right, it fits the music, but and I don't think David Lynch himself, even though when you look at pictures of him, like I say, he's attractive, I guess model-esque looking guy. He's really tall and he's got this, I don't know, this expression that he has on his face. It reminds me of, I like the GQ, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and just get some of this in here. This pencil shading, and then once I throw the inks down on it, I will define a lot of this. I'm doing this in real time. I don't want to take up too much time because I know I could probably take up a lot more time. And I guess for me it's a good exercise to try to complete something really quickly. Um, I, I guess in the vein of illustrating comics, it's something you want to practice, is getting something done very quickly so that way you can go on to the next thing, move on to the next illustration or next page, what have you. And you get really bushy eyebrows. In this picture, this particular illustration, he's elderly. I think it's a good. I think it's a good, really nice picture of him. So that's the reason why I chose it. Let's see. Okay. Now all this here. Well, here. I was just gonna draw or render his suit and solid black, but you know, I'm gonna go ahead and at least leave this part here, and everything else will be. All this stuff right here is gonna be black. Now, a trick in comic books is what we'll do if we want to spot our black areas as a penciler. Moving on to an inker, we'll just put a little X so that the inker knows that that's this solid black area. And you can also see his lapel. Alright. I don't even know if you can see what I'm doing down there, but there it is. Alright, so now he has an interesting hairstyle that I want to give him. This photograph that I'm using for reference, he does not have this particular hairstyle that I'm going to give him now, but I really like this hairstyle that he has. David Lynch. He if you ever saw Eraserhead, I believe it was his first major motion picture, and you could tell when you listen, or not listen, you're listening to this. It's really hard for me to talk when I'm drawing, but so I'll turn it down a little bit. When you watch this movie, you can really see, you know, it's obviously anecdotal, right? So it's interesting listening to this when he's talking about your baby crying and stuff like that, because you've seen Eraserhead, you know he accidentally impregnates his girlfriend, and Eraserhead, that is, and the baby comes out very strange looking, but nobody, you know, it's just normal. So I think that's illustrates, you know, as a young man, his angst. Um, and you know how interestingly bizarre his fear of I mean, it's ultra paranoid, right? So that's why everything's exaggerated, and I think a lot of his films illustrate that paranoia to an extreme. Okay, so a lot of people are like, why does this baby look like a strange alien, and no one is really mentioning it? Well, this is ultra paranoia, uh, visually exaggerated, right, for the screen, because you just have a little baby, right? It's not as, I guess, intense or ultra paranoid. So It's very surreal in that way, just like in the tradition of Salvador Dali, right? How he, if you are into Salvador Dali, you would recognize that he was very into this what he called this ultra paranoia. And I mean, if you think about it, paranoia, can refer to a bunch of things. You know, there's anxiety, fear of life, basically, like simple life, basically. Could be fear of death, which is part of life. But in a lot of cases, being paranoid is I don't know, just kind of a hyper awareness and a fear of that. And I think we all, to an extent, have that a trait as human beings. This is existential, and sometimes it can be overwhelming. And I think this leads it leads a lot to anxiety. People with anxiety issues and stuff like that. It's just some people it's too overwhelming for some people. I think, like I had mentioned with Eraserhead, I think it illustrates how that can be really intense, just visually. And he uses that to great effect in all of his movies. So there's your man, David Lynch. A simple pencil drawing. And I'm going to go ahead and work on the inks for it. And 20 minutes in, that's not too bad for penciling. Well, just to make this video not so long, I'm going to go ahead and chop it here, this video, and I don't know if you want, if you like, put in the comments if you would like to watch me ink this illustration, and I will post a video of that. And yeah, feel free to subscribe and like if you like it, and press dislike if you dislike it, and I shall return. Alright, peace.